Jackie Shaw iBroad presents
Zoomterview.
an Administrators Unite production.
I'm back with my best friend Tracy Flanagan, coming to us from Florida again. And she's going to talk to us about her experiences with different accounting software. Because unlike me, I started with Peachtree, which is now called Sage, back in the 90s. That was my first computer accounting software. And now my focus really has been QuickBooks because it's what most micro businesses use.
Right.
And so I'm in a constant love-hate relationship with Intuit. So tell us about some of the software products that you've used and what you've liked best and how you've seen software evolving. You know, what kind of automation is coming through. So I just asked you a whole bunch of questions. I'll be quiet now, Tracy.
I've worked with quite a few. A lot of it has been Sage-based programs and Mass 90 type programs, which is then Mass 200. And then the rest of it's been like proprietary software, depending on the industry. When I was working for the telecommunications company, that was a program that had been written by our IT person for us. And it was somewhat limited, but there was only 2 or 3 of us using it. So it wasn't too bad. Where I was just at the big giant company, it was Oracle based software. So it was all cloud accounting, which I think that's where the industry's kind of moving to now, is mostly cloud based.
How did you like Oracle? Because they really promote on like Facebook and stuff. They're like, sick of QuickBooks, go to Oracle. But we were actually going to maybe position ourselves to using something like that for my classes, like to have a different product to move to, because I'm hearing so many people saying, I don't want to give Intuit any more money.
Yeah.
But Oracle was really expensive when my friend called in. It was like, I don't know, thousands of dollars a month maybe for their cloud computing.
It's very, very expensive. But if you're working for a company where money's basically not an issue, it is a great program. It's got its own couple little quirks, but for the most part, it was a really, really solid program, very easy to use. And because it was cloud-based, because we had multiple locations, it kind of streamlined everything. Everybody from all of the different locations could all use it. And that was actually probably my favorite accounting program I've used. Mass 200 was really good too for the telecommunications industry. Right now I'm using it's IDS software that is basically just for recreational vehicles, like RV programs use it because we're a boat dealership. We use it. Motorcycle dealerships. I have worked at car dealerships as well, and they don't really use that type of program. But IDS is pretty easy to use. But I do like the cloud-based programs now. I think they do have the right idea, and there's not too many steps for you to mess up. They make it pretty easy. And it's got the checks and balances now where you can't enter the same invoice number twice. You're going to get a flag. So it's a good way to catch any issues or mistakes you might make.
Have you worked for companies that are using something like bill.com, where you like scan the bills and then people authorize payment, or receipts.com? Like, are you seeing any third-party apps being used to like capture bills and like scan them? I've seen a couple software demos where you can scan the bill in, and the system, the little artificial intelligences, algorithms are like, oh, that's a date, that's the invoice number, that's an amount of money. Are you seeing anything like that
That's
where you've worked?
right before I left the large company. They had just gotten a whole completely new system, and it was going towards that where it was going to paperless basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything was scanned in, and the software was supposed to be reading the invoices, but I have not seen that kind of system be successful yet. There's too many hiccups because everybody's invoices are different. It doesn't always pick up stuff correctly. And
So it's not 100% accurate yet. So you're babysitting your little artificial intelligence. Your job now is to manage the AIs and make sure they're doing it right.
Yeah, make sure correctly. Yeah. Yes, because everybody's invoicing is different. So,
and that's one of the reasons why I feel like our whole industry, and luckily COVID helped a bit with this, because to get employees, suddenly McDonald's is paying $15 an hour. So bookkeepers, like, you got to pay your bookkeepers a better wage now. Overall, my experience has been that some bookkeepers are really respected. Usually it's the micro business, right? In a micro business where the bookkeeper is actually also kind of the confidant to the owner, or the executive assistant to the owner. And they might be doing marketing and accounting and, some other things. Those folks are usually treated pretty well. And, overall, what I see is like $25 an hour kind of pay. But I feel like in general, our industry is in a position where, and I'm gonna get totally like socio-political right now. I feel like our industry is in a position where old white men are saying, we created this technology to replace you, and so your job is even easier. But actually now bookkeepers need a much higher technology skill set, and they need to know how to troubleshoot and really know how to look at the financials and dig down and make sure everything's being done correctly. So because we're babysitting the AIs, I really feel like we need to start being called like accounting technicians. Like, technicians usually are making more money, right? The word technician. So we should be accounting technicians, because if this is where we're headed. But if we're going to be babysitting the AIs, we need advanced skills in many different areas, technology and accounting. And we should be getting paid for it, right?
Yeah, because, the accepted term of accounts payable clerk, you're not clerking anymore. A clerk is somebody that's going to punch in a couple buttons and get a number, but it doesn't involve any of the troubleshooting, making sure it's going to the correct GL account, that's hitting the right ones, that, that's being deposited into the bank correctly. You have to have experience and an eye for detail more than ever before, because you are letting the computer do a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah.
Now that,
Yep. I love that, experience and an eye for detail, because that is really where we're at right now. And so when you've switched companies, generally you've switched accounting software, right?
Yeah.
And so your experience in the accounting world is that you need to be really flexible and ready for change, and be able to find the patterns no matter what software application you're using. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because usually when you enter a credit, you're entering a negative amount. At the big company, which was the Oracle software, you still entered it as a debit, but you checked one little box that basically said it was a credit, but it never put
weird
that sign. Yeah. And so it was something that was very difficult to get used to. It was so counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I'm entering a positive number, but it was one of those weird little glitchy things that's what it was like in that program. And so getting used to doing that took some time, but like you said, you have to be flexible and an eye for detail now to understand how that all works, because it is different in every single company. Every single company uses different software, and a lot of them aren't using the software correctly or to the best of its ability because nobody's really gotten trained on it. So, you know, everybody's basically kind of making it up as they go along to try to figure out how they can work the best with that software, but they might not be using it correctly. So every company is different. Every accounting software is different.
Yeah. So, Tracy, one final question. Of all the places you worked in, all the software, what was your favorite industry to work in? Which one did you enjoy the most?
The telecommunications company, because it was so varied and all of our business was international. So all of the people that I had to talk to in there, I was doing AP and AR. So, you know, I would have to be emailing somebody in Ghana to ask them to pay their bill. You know, I'd have to be talking to somebody in New Zealand to have them send me their invoice. So I just liked connecting with things in all different time zones and all over the world. So I really liked that. That was a lot of fun.
Nice. That sounds amazing. Did you make any friends where they said, hey, if you're ever in blank blank, you've got a place to stay, or a guide, a tour guide?
Yeah, the one lady, Callie, in Greece, she actually texted me right after she gave birth and to show me the picture of her brand new baby, you know, because we'd gotten so close with talking emails throughout the years since I was there for 12 years. You know, a lot of the people that I met, there's a guy called the Sheik that was over in Abu Dhabi, and he still emails me all the time and still sends me Christmas cards and everything. So
we got to go to Abu Dhabi.
Got to go to Abu Dhabi.
That sounds great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So that was your favorite industry, and that does sound amazing. What was your favorite software?
Probably, even though it wasn't the easiest to use, probably the one that ran smoothly was the Oracle one. Can't remember the actual name of it, but it was a Microsoft. It was one of the Microsoft ones. Can't remember what it's called, but that was good software. It was
the
easy.
Oracle. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. You've brought us a wealth of information, so thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a Get Organized Entertainment production. If you'd like to see more videos, go to administratorsunite.com.